Thank you, Watto.
Thank
wow.
you. One time for anybody out there chasing their dreams. One time for the family. One time for my day ones. And one time for the bad bitches in the back that's rocking with it, girl. Play with me. Just like that, baby, we officially live on the official Watto podcast, live from the
Treasure Coast Cartel.
You know
Cartel
what
on
it
three,
is.
1, 2, 3, Cartel.
Treasure Coast Cartel, stand up, rise of a warrior. What's up, baby? This is legendary. I'm here with my guy, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Dan Donaldson. How you doing, big dog?
It's good to finally have you here.
Come on, man. It's
Let's
good to
go.
be here at the mythical place. This is the Treasure Coast Cartel home. Mr. Dan Donaldson, we are at your home, the garage, the iconic garage. We got the octagon in the backyard. First and foremost, what inspired you to do this? What inspired you to open your home to all these fighters?
I think it was COVID.
Okay.
I think COVID did it. Yeah,
Sparked it.
something like
Hey, it
that.
sparked a lot of things, man.
It was kind of COVID because like we had
You guys can keep moving and training. You don't have to go. It's cool.
yeah, it was COVID. It was definitely COVID because we didn't really have a place to train, and I had the garage. I only had 2 strips of mats right here.
Okay.
And we had a walkway, and then it slowly got bigger and bigger. I started taking cabinets off the walls, cabinets off the back walls, and we started it was like a process over the last so many years.
And
that's what happened. He went to go grab his notepad because he has questions for me, and I try to ask him what questions he was asking me, and he won't tell me. Like, all right, Dave, have a good night. Thanks, bro. Bye, Jaden.
This is awesome, man. All the fighters come here to train. This is a normal Tuesday night here, live from the Treasure Coast Cartel. So, and everybody hasn't noticed, it's your boy Watto. We're here with Dan Donaldson, the CEO, the owner of Rise of a Warrior, the founder of the Treasure Coast Cartel. You guys have seen my videos live from the Rise. Appreciate you always letting me post up there. Start off the interview, Dan. I want to ask, how many fighters do you think on average, how many different fighters have been through the Treasure Coast Cartel right here?
It just depends on what you consider a fighter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I have kids that just want to train, and they just want to train, and they don't want to compete, and they don't consider themselves fighters really at all. They just train because they want to learn, and I open the doors up for them too. I don't care that they don't want to fight.
Yeah.
Some of these kids don't even want to fight. They just like to train because it's their boys, and they can't afford $150 to $200 a month to train at a jiu-jitsu or MMA or kickboxing gym. And I'm just like, man, just come over and train with us. It's cool.
Yeah.
A lot of times I just have them help me with the events, like cage setup and cage breakdown and stuff like that.
Beautiful. Speaking of the next event, okay, we're in February right now. When is the next Rise of a Warrior? Some of these guys might be getting ready. Talk to them, Dan.
It's March 15th, the Haver L Fence Center. We're doing 3 events this year. This is the first of 3. I'm excited for it because we have a lot of kids that are on the card that haven't even fought before. So it's going to be,
Debuts, baby.
I mean, that's a lot. That's a big thing. Some of these kids came up wrestling in high school, and they want to continue competing, and they don't really have much to do. So I have friends in the wrestling community that always send me, hey man, this kid could wrestle, and he's interested in fighting. Can you work with him a little bit? And then I always, it's open door. It's open door, and I try to help them and mentor them the best that I can.
Oh man, I love it. A couple questions I want to ask Dan. I appreciate you letting me coming through. Over the years, obviously, you've been doing Rise of Warrior for years at this point, man. Probably 10 plus years at least. So.
The first event was in 2011.
Wow, 2011.
And I wasn't even the owner then. I wasn't even the owner.
Right.
I didn't even own it until 2013 or something like that.
Man.
So me personally, I was the matchmaker before.
Right.
And then I just ended up owning it as time went on, and now we're 2025
now.
So
2025 now.
7 plus 5, yeah, 11 or 12 years.
Come on now, and listen, the whole city appreciates you. I'll speak for the city, Dan. We appreciate
Thanks,
you
man.
for the great show that you put on. I want to ask, over the years, especially now that you are the owner, how have you improved yourself, and how have you improved Rise of a Warrior in the shows?
How have I improved myself?
Yep.
People sleep on meditation. I'm serious, man. The other night I took 2 guys and I shut the garage door and I was like, man, you guys are meditating. I'm gonna teach you guys how to meditate. And they looked at me like I was crazy. And they're here right now. And I could tell that they have they're here right now.
Yeah.
And I could tell that they have a lot of anxiety and shit, and a lot of just anxiety, work, bills, they got this, they got that. They're young kids,
Life.
19, life shit. And they're 19, 20 years old. I'm like, And it was at the end of practice on Friday night, and they were just hanging around talking, and I was like, and we were just talking about life shit, and I was like, you guys don't meditate? Like, have you ever tried it? And they're like, and they both were like, nah, fuck that. Nah, I've never done. I'm like, nah, we're good. So I pulled out like a YouTube instructional on meditation, and it talks you breathe in, breathe out, and I shut both garage doors, and I turned the lights off and shit, and I had my flashlight, and I was like, you guys lay down, and they both were like, felt like, they're like, oh my God, I never felt anything like this before. See? Yeah, I'm like, man, like, so yeah, that was something that I added to my daily was meditating, because I used to be a nervous ass kid. I didn't even discover it really until 5-6 years ago myself.
That you were nervous.
Yeah, because now I look at it like, like I just had other ways to cope with it, you know, training and different things, you know, like writing in my notes and journal. I have little different ways to do shit like that, but it's always a go-to for me with meditation with the guys. I'm always like trying to teach them that shit. Sometimes they think I'm crazy, but I'm like, nah, you learn this shit.
Since 2013, how has Rise of a Warrior improved in terms of the live shows? How have you improved the live shows from 2013 to now?
Probably just getting a better understanding of how the events need to be ran, getting the sponsors on my side so they can see what it is exactly that I'm doing for the community, and trying to get people there to watch these events and watch these local kids fight, you know, because it's not just kids from my gym, getting the community more involved. I really try to get more in that. And then social media took off for us too at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
So go follow Combat
That really
Night.
helped out a lot.
Go follow Rise of a Warrior, all the pages, man. You guys are going viral. I want to ask, so last Rise of a Warrior event, Combat Night partnership, you had your fight. Your return professional fight, okay? Dan, what did that mean to you? What did that mean to fight in front of your family?
It was probably one of the like most nerve-wracking things that I've ever done, you know, because like my son was on the card too, and I was trying to put an event together, and I was trying to deal with like getting some of the guys ready,
and still ran it as a promoter the same night. It'd be one thing if you took the night off and just fought. You still did your normal job and then hopped in. Let's just keep that clear.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I haven't really heard of anybody else doing it. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but it was stupid.
How could you do it? You know what I mean? Right.
It was like...
And pulled it off?
I did, but I don't know, like, if I could... I'd probably do it again. But, hold on. I'd probably do it again.
That's right.
But I wish I had a better understanding of how stressful it was going to be, because the day of, I was a wreck.
Right.
It was just like a whole ball of emotions, and just like trying to make sure these sponsors were sitting and they were cool, making sure the front was cool, the fighters were warming up, the athletic commission, there's an amateur athletic commission, and there's a pro sanctioning body. Like, there's just so much going on there. And then at the same time, like, I have to fight in front of, like, and my friends were like, yo, man, you better not mess it. Are we cursing on this motherfucker?
You can say whatever the fuck you want, Dan. I own this podcast.
Yeah, they were like, you fuck around and lose this fight, they're going to call it the fall of the warrior. I was like, damn, so when
That's
they were
a big moment.
Yeah, when they were clowning on me and they were saying shit like that, it really was like, I'd have a moment to myself walking away, and I'd be like, man, I really can't fuck this up. I can't fuck this up.
People don't understand. That would literally be the UFC having an event, and Dana White, during the third fight of the event, come out and fight Tito Ortiz himself, and then go back to do his job. You just wouldn't expect or see that.
Yeah, for the area in general. Like, I mean, the levels are different.
Your walkout was iconic.
I would
Came
fight
out
Dana
with
White,
Meek Mill, Dreams and Nightmares. I mean, it was just iconic. Dan, I want to ask you a really cool question. We got a lot of alumni. Shout out to all the guys that are here tonight training at the Treasure Coast Cartel. But I want to ask, do you have 5 alumni from the Rise of a Warrior of all time that you would choose to ride out with you to go fight against the aliens? The aliens told you Dan Donaldson is you, life or death. You need to go get 5 of your Rise of a Warrior guys. Who will you get?
Corey Pavo right away.
Gotta get Pavo.
Because he's just not going to let me die. Steve Townsell, for sure. I don't even like doing this. Let me just stop with them two.
That's
the
all
last
you need?
3, yeah, because
and this isn't the best. This is literally just the aliens.
No, I don't want to hurt
people that are going to be
you know what it
reckless
is?
and
I love these motherfuckers so much that I don't. What'll happen is I'll answer this question, and you put it online, and there's going to be some of them that are going to
get to fight the aliens with you.
Think about it. Shane Mistretta.
Wow.
Jesus. Barrington Bishop.
Wow.
Dennis Delgado, like these guys are all like my bad. Jillian Robinson, like
Jillian
come on,
would
bro.
hold it
Like
down.
These, the list does. Ian Stewart,
That's
these
right,
dudes,
Coach
man,
Ian, killing it
bro.
tonight.
I could keep going with it.
Because this isn't your Mount Rushmore. And
Bro,
I want to ask you that.
Carlos
This
Gil.
is
Carlos
Give me
Lopez.
4
Do you know who
people.
Carlos Lopez is?
I don't know Carlos Lopez.
Yo, Carlos Lopez fought on Rise of Warrior like 2 or 3 times, and I love him. I've known him longer than probably everybody, and he's my call in the middle of the night guy if my car breaks down.
Wow.
He fights bare knuckle now.
Damn,
yeah, him
shout
and
out
Steve
to
Townsend.
him.
Yeah, Steve and
Different breed.
Yeah, man. And I
love
love all
that.
of them,
I
bro.
love that.
Like,
So
I have
any Rise of
I
Warrior
have a
guy
different
will be able to
connection.
fight the aliens
I have
with
a
Dan.
connection, like a crazy connection with all of them too, though. You know, like,
I
so I
love
can't
that.
even pick. I don't even want to answer that shit.
Not gonna lie, shout out to my guy Scrap Bryson. Okay, Dylan put that post up. I thought he was returning. I was shocked. Last Rise of Warriors, like I was all fake, bro. That's one of the worst ones in my opinion. I wanted that to see.
Yeah, he's a faker. He just felt
Shout out to
like
Scrap.
he just felt like posting. That's all.
Can you give me your top 5 UFC fighters of all time? Your favorites?
Dean Thomas.
Shout out to Dean, legend. Cody Maitland brought me in American Top Team, St. Louis West.
Yeah.
Signed up with you, okay? Coach with,
That's what's
trained with Coach Dean Thomas for a little bit. Shout out to a legend. That's Dean Thomas, number 1.
up. Nick Diaz.
Shout out. Don't be scared, homie.
Anderson Silva.
Legend.
You said top 5. You want 2 more?
Top 5 favorites of all time. Dan Donaldson.
Let me just put Jillian or Robertson
Puts
on
the
there.
savage.
I have to.
Putting it on for
Just
the
the
whole
fact
team.
that she's still doing it is crazy.
Still doing it.
It's insane. It's crazy to me. Sometimes I'm like, it's just crazy. I can't even describe what that feels like because I signed her up when she was
Come
like
on now.
15.
Come on
Shit.
now on the big
It's like,
stage. She's in a video game, guys.
like,
you can go play
yeah,
with
I
her
know.
in
Here's
UFC's
like
video
fill this
game.
out. She did like women's kickboxing, and I don't know. Just that's top 4 right there.
Top 4, I like it. You a
Yeah.
Conor guy? You a fan of Conor?
I do like Conor's style and the way he fights and shit because I'm southpaw and so is he. So I always rooted for southpaws in a way. And everybody that I named, except for Jillian, is a southpaw.
Yeah.
Dean's actually
true.
left-handed, but he fights orthodox. A lot
Wow,
of
I
people don't
didn't
know
know
that.
that.
If you watch him write with his hands,
I didn't know
he writes
that.
with his left hand.
Dean's a pioneer for sure. Yeah, with Conor, man, I'm a big Conor fan. I feel like a lot of people either love him, hate him. I'm a realist with Conor, so I love him, but he's not in my top 5 greatest of all time. I think he's the most impactful fighter we've ever had in terms of putting it to the level it's at. But he's got to come back and get another belt and return the belts. Or defend the belts, I'm sorry. Dan, I want to ask, do you have one rule change that you would like to make in mixed martial arts? If you could change any rule.
For amateur MMA, I wish that they would let us do 5-round title fights.
Wow, good point.
I think that would be cool. 3 5s. You know what I mean?
Title fight deserves 5.
Yeah, I think so.
They put
Something
in all
like that
that
would be
work?
cool. I also think that maybe just with title fights when guys are getting ready to go pro, maybe take the shin guards off them for amateurs. I think that would be kind of cool just because like there's a huge difference between when they go amateur when they make that jump. Everything changes.
Everything changes.
Their breathing patterns change.
Yeah, that's right.
The amount of pain that they start taking from the kicks and elbows too, everything changes. So
It's a different
it gets
level.
tougher. It gets tougher, and then you panic a little bit more when you go pro. I think that we need to ease them into that a little bit better. But I mean, the rules are the rules, you know. So we have to do our best to like prepare these guys for that jump. You know what I mean?
Now, as a fight fan, I've always said, respect to all fighters, win, loss, or draw. They're here to entertain the people, so respect to all these guys and girls that are putting it all out on the line. But I want to ask you, Dan, obviously we've got pro sport athletes that take losses. LeBron James, he's lost in the finals. He's still an all-time great. Tom Brady's lost many Super Bowls. He's still an all-time great. For an MMA fighter, how important is a loss, and should a loss not be that important for the fighters? Obviously, every fight is a Super Bowl. So to you as a promoter, how important is a loss? How much does a loss mean on a fighter's resume?
I'm at a point now where like when a guy takes an L and they go out there and gave it their all, like they gave it 100% and they didn't quit on me, like when I'm cornering them or if I'm just watching them or whatever, and they just gave it their all, and I know that they did, and I can tell that they did based on like what I've seen in here with me,
the work put in.
I'm cool with it because like it's just I just see so much more improvement after. Every time there's an L, I hate to be like cliche and say it, but like, oh, there's wins and lessons. Like, you win or you learn, and all that thing. It's really true. You know what I mean? Like,
especially with a sport that one wrong step, one quick elbow, one hit on the chin, it's all over. All that prep work, all that preparation is done so quick.
Nothing's perfect in the sport. And there's no perfect weight cut. There's no perfect fight. There's just so many variables with this sport that a lot of times I tell these dudes, sometimes like, I'll say, hey man, go out there, even if you're not a wrestler, go out there and try and wrestle, because when you're fighting at the T-Mobile in Las Vegas one day,
Yeah.
and we're on Las Vegas Boulevard, and you're getting touched up on the feet, and I need to say, man, remember, you could wrestle. You've wrestled before in fights. You've had to prove yourself that you can wrestle.
Yep.
Go out there and wrestle. So sometimes I switch their game plans on them. Like, all right, you're fighting in 3 weeks. I want you wrestling every day. I don't care that you're fighting. You know what I'm saying? Just to switch it up on them. So then they can, believe in themselves a little bit more later on when we get to the point where they're like, shit, I can wrestle. Like,
as a coach preparing fighters, what do you think, MMA, mixed martial arts, which discipline to you is the hardest to prepare for? A great striker, a great grappler, a great jiu-jitsu guy?
A great wrestler.
Wrestlers always?
A great wrestler is always pretty tough because
it's unavoidable.
You're fighting off takedowns, and then I just think that the area that we the area that we live in general is not really known for like a big wrestling background. You know what I mean? Like, we're not in Iowa and
That's
Nebraska
mountainous
and
stuff, right?
Like it's not really so. When I get calls,
we got good strikers though out here.
When I get calls for guys that are like, hey, we got this fight. There's a 2 or 3 week notice, on a pro event, somewhere, and I want to get these guys like a pro fight somewhere. It's like, as soon as I hear like, oh, he was a D1 wrestler, he's this, he's that, I'm like, fuck, man. Like,
Right.
It's just one, especially on short notice fights. That's just part of the game. You got to adapt and get used to it.
What's your favorite part about running the Rise of a Warrior?
I like that I'm able to bring everybody together and like give everybody like the night out where they can just kind of like shut their mind off and just watch some fights. And you ain't thinking about your bills and going back to work on Monday when you're at the fights, watching your buddy who you went to high school with fight. You bring when the whole community comes together and my sponsors get there and the fights are rolling and the music is on and all my friends and family and everybody's there. There's no other feeling like that. There's just not. I'm sorry. Just something about creating that for 4 hours is just, I love every second of it, man. I love it. I love it for my community in this area.
And we love you for putting it on, Dan. Like I said, guys, we're here with the owner, the CEO of Rise of a Warrior. Obviously, we see what you do, Dan. Always, we see out here doing it. But who do you do it for?
I do it for my family. I do it for the kids. I do it for these guys. Like if I had M's in the bank,
right,
I wouldn't have M's in the bank.
Yeah.
I'd be like, man,
point.
Are you good? What do you need? Are you good? I'm good. Like, I'm straight.
Yeah.
I don't worry about money. It comes back around and it is what it is. Like, I can't stress on that.
Yeah.
So I just do it for my family and for the guys, and to leave somewhat of a legacy around here where people are like, yo, he did that shit. I barely graduated high school, and I got a whole fight team. I got a MMA promotion. I've got the city and the county and the area behind me and help support it, and I want to help other gyms.
And you've literally brought celebrities to our local gym right here, local Harvard L Fenn Center. A lot of people you don't even realize who have been at the Rise of Warrior events. So there's some big celebrities, big name people amongst the community here that have come out here, Dan. So what motivates you to continue to do it, to continue to keep on going, put on events, keep opening your gym up late night, having all the sweaty guys come in here and slam each other all night?
There's something about like knowing what I was like when I was like 14, 15, 16, 17, and I was like, I was a mess. I had You
would have benefited from a Treasure Coast Cartel.
Oh my God, if I wish I had something like this and I just like, man, I love this shit so much for these guys. Like I had my first son at like 18, 19, and like, wow. And I just, from then on out, I was just been on go since then.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I just know the benefits of this for them. I just do. I couldn't imagine not doing this.
And obviously, we're in a busy street. What about the neighbors? The neighbors, fans of the gym, cool. Do they hate it? They love it? Oh, that's the best.
They're cool. They're so cool. The kid next door trains with us. He's a little homie. He cuts my grass for me.
Legendary Shane Mistretta in the back there right now. Come on, you see it. See legends out here stroming around. Good dog. Always good to see you.
Pad work tomorrow. All right.
Have you ever had a neighbor, a Karen, a neighbor?
Not at all.
Not like, bless
No,
us.
not at all.
So glad to hear
No,
that.
because I invite them over to watch. I'm like, come over. I want you to know what we do.
To see what's going on.
Yeah, but at the same time too, like they all know what's up. Like we're out here during the day, so if I see any weird shit going on in the neighborhood, I keep an eye on everybody's crib for them. I really do. I'm like, I'm out here.
And the neighbors probably know
Yeah.
they've got 20 personal bodyguards right here at all times between the hours of 6 and 8.
They know. Like I've had my neighbors tell me that they feel safer because we're here.
That's big.
Yeah, we don't. Cars slow down when they drive by here because they're like they don't want to speed.
Damn.
Yeah, because they still speed on this road sometimes, and we'll puff our chests out like
A little something.
yeah, straight up. They know.
And now, is this an invite only? How do people reach out? Can they get
They
personal
can find me
training
on
here?
Instagram, Daniel Donaldson. I think it's Daniel Donaldson _MMA. I think is what it is. Then the Rise of Warrior. Just message us, especially if you're local and you want to compete. Listen, if I feel like you can't train here because these guys are too advanced, I tell these dudes, or, women too, guys and girls. I tell them where to go.
Right.
Like you want to do
That's
jiu-jitsu
big.
with a gi, man, you should go check out Indoor Martial Arts or Hanato Tavares BJJ or Future Jiu-Jitsu or go check out these other gyms because we don't do gi here.
Right.
So I try and push these push people that hit me up. If they're a fit, they're a fit. There's a lot of times I've had people show up to come talk to me. And I'm like, I don't know.
You don't know. You still want to put them in the right direction. That's big.
Yeah, I steer them in the right direction because I know what martial arts can do for some people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I do. I get it.
Yeah, shout out to Danny, man. I've seen Danny transform, your son.
My son?
Years
Yeah.
ago when I first saw him, he was just kind of hanging out as a show guy. Now he's fully ripped out here having pro fights. Like, it's amazing to see.
My son, yeah. I want to get Nicholas on here. He's my oldest. But
Shout out to Nick.
Yeah, he's
It's a small world. I actually know his girlfriend. Known her my
really?
whole life. Absolutely.
Tiffany.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a smart kid, man.
That's amazing,
smart
man.
kid.
And it's all in the family. Like I said, he uses his sons. He lets his sons help run the business. Is there anybody that you want to shout out, give thanks to? Obviously, shout out to all the sponsors, everybody. But anybody that personally helped you get to where we're at right now, Dan Donaldson.
I have a couple friends that I have like go-tos. Like I have a fellow who helps me with the events named Mike Allen. And he's the front guy. When you come to Rise of Warrior, you always see him. He's got a little suit on.
The suit on, shout out. I've seen him. Yep,
Yeah, he's
sure.
always working the front for me.
Legend.
He's always involved. He's always like helps me. You need to try this. You need to do this. And I've known him forever. I mean,
Yeah.
And he's smart, man. If I ever have questions about things, he's my go-to for sure. And here comes Danny right now. Actually, he just
hell
pulled
yeah.
up.
Hell yeah.
I should have him just sit down.
Fuck yeah. There you go. Get him.
No, but yeah, his name is Mike Allen. He's a businessman in the area, and he just loves the fights too. And he showed up on me one day, and we were at American Top Team in St. Lucie West. That's when we were. It was like in 2010 or 2011, and he just popped in there wanting to learn self-defense.
Wow.
And he just walked in and was like, I want to learn self-defense, but I want to do kind of like private lessons because I don't like a big group of people. And I said, man, let's do it. And I started doing private lessons with him, and he kind of became somewhat of like a stepdad or an uncle to me. Yeah, he's really like, he's gonna cry when he sees this shit.
That's
but
dope,
yeah.
man. Shout out.
Yeah, Mike Allen, man. He really is. He's really been one of the most solid people that I've ever had in my life, to be honest. Like, yeah.
And now, obviously, I've met a lot of friends through Rise of Warrior. I'm a fan of a lot of these fighters, man. Shout out to Shane, JoJo, KO Pavo, all the
JoJo.
greats, man. But is there any fighter that surprised you, Dan, on how great they became from when you first met them into now? Is there any Rise of Warrior fighter that surprised you how
Let me
how
just
great
tell
they
the Shane
got?
Mistretta story real quick.
Please tell us. Shane is
Hey,
one of
can you
one.
go get
It was during COVID, Anytime Fitness, 2:00 in the morning, and me and my girl would go there and we would work out. And I saw him like doing his little Conor McGregor shit on the bag one night, and I just didn't say nothing. And then I just ran, like a week later, I seen him again, and he came up to me and he had his phone in his hand, and he was like, is this you, like, by chance? And I was like, yeah, like, what's up, man? And he was like, man, I'm training. I have a fight coming up, and I want to, can you train me for it? And we just started having this conversation about this fight that he had coming up. And I was like, where's this fight at? And he goes, it's in Tampa. I'm like, when? He goes, in 2 weeks. I was like, what weight are you fighting? And he's like, 175 or 180. And I'm looking at him. I'm like, he's a smaller guy. Like, he wasn't like, I'm like, who are you fighting? And then he showed me the guy's Instagram. I'm like, yo, that dude's a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. Like, what show is it? And he told me the show. I was like, you're not. And he was such a sweet kid, and he just won me over with this conversation.
There he is. There he is. Come on now.
And he just won me over with this conversation because he was such a nice kid, And I was like, yo, you're not fighting. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna reach out to this promoter. You're not. Like, I'll train you. Like, we'll figure this out.
So you pulled him?
Yeah, I pulled him. I knew the promoter. I hit the promoter. I said, man, this kid's not fighting, bro. He's training with me now. I didn't know that he took this fight. And I pulled him out, and I got him his first fight like 6 months later. I got him a kickboxing fight to get him started, and he's been with me ever since. He's got a key to my house.
Damn.
Yeah, he's like,
he's
man,
one
he's
of our
like,
guys,
yeah, he's
man.
one of my guys. That's it. Yeah,
Shout out to Shane. Humble guy, very humble man.
He is
He's
like
been on the show.
I want to recreate those relationships. I love that. Like, and I keep doing that shit with these other guys too, man. I love this shit. Like, yeah.
Hey, Danny, man, come pull up, dog. We got his son.
You done with me?
No, hell no. Dan, man, thank you so much. Any last words for the people? This is the CEO of Rise of Warrior, Dan Donaldson.
I just want to thank everybody that's a part of this. And it's a part of this, like, Rise of a Warrior, Treasure Coast Cartel movement.
Yeah.
Because it is this movement. It's
That's
slow, it's this thing that just keeps on getting bigger and better, and it's funner, and, like, it's cool, man. I want to thank everybody that's a part of it. The fans, the fighters, the sponsors, the staff, like, everybody that helps me put these events on and supports me, and a lot of them know that I won't turn my back on them.
Yeah.
You know, I'm here for a lot of them. You know, I'm always a
big.
phone call away for all my people, and they know it. So I think that's probably why, like, they think shit just keeps moving.
Yeah. Hey, man, well, thank you so much, Dan. It's always a pleasure, my guy.
Play
Live from the
basketball.
Treasure Coast Cartel. Now we got to meet, man.
We need to play
His son,
basketball
Danny.
soon.
Oh, we got to hoop,
Get
dog.
in
You know
that
me.
ass.
I'm out there. All right, Danny, what's going on, big dog? Good to see you always. We spoke about you a little bit. Now we got to get you on the show. You can talk right into the mic.
Nice.
So this is Dan's son, Danny. How you feeling, bro?
I'm feeling good, man. Just got done with the workout, so I'm focused.
Listen, I told Dan earlier when I first saw you, you were all right. You know what I'm saying? You're out here now. You're fucking solid, ripped, training
Thanks,
every day,
bro.
having pro fights. So to you, what does Rise of a Warrior mean?
Rise of Warrior is what brought me up. Created by my father, and it's very important to me, you know, and to be part of these events with all these guys. But yeah, man, it's something I've been involved with since I was a little kid, and over the years being able to watch these guys grow up into professional fighters. You know, you got like Jillian Robertson fighting.
Come on now.
You know, when she was a teenager, and now she's most fit
A
submission.
ranked UFC fighter on the video games, legit legend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most finishes in the UFC. It's awesome. It's awesome to see, you know, how much, you know, what we're able to offer these guys locally.
The Treasure Coast Cartel, Danny, tell me a little bit in your opinion about what this spot's like, what the training garage is like to you. Treasure Coast Cartel, stand up.
It's very special. It's pretty much a brotherhood. You know, all these guys love and take care of each other. You know, we're on a group chat, and we all keep each other accountable. When shit hits the fan, you know, guys check each other, and I think that's really important for the growth of all these guys, and especially if they all want to fight in the UFC one day.
That's right.
You know, you got to keep each other accountable.
Right.
And I love that shit. Yeah, I think our first runner-up is probably going to be Shane Mistretta.
Shout out to
I
Shane.
think,
We talked about him a lot, man.
I believe it. Yeah, he's that guy. I feel like he's the guy that's going to really excel here. He's definitely our golden boy.
That's right, man. Shane, he's someone that you can really mold your game after. Mm-hmm. Someone you want to be like. He's an inspiration as a person, as a fighter. Mm-hmm. And like you already know, Shane let you know, jump that gilly. Don't be silly, jump the gilly.
Don't be silly, jump the gilly. Gilly
I
goose
want
gang.
to ask you, Dan. I asked Dan, can you give me no right answers, no wrong answers. Can you give me your top 5 or top 4 Rise of Warrior Mount Rushmore fighters all time?
Ooh, that's a great question, Wido. Number 1 for me, I would have to go with Joey Maneo. Just he's been around for so long, and he's still fighting at this age.
Go.
And, you know, he's not even that old, but still, for me, I was a little kid watching him fight. So like, still, you know, I'm grown up now, watching him still get in there as a professional now, getting in there, finishing guys, is crazy to me. You said top 5.
Yep, tell me top 5.
And then I would have to go. I would like to put Jillian on that list too,
Absolutely.
as well.
This is your list.
You know, the shit that she's been able to pull off, you know, with her hard work, and
she always reps. That's what I love about her.
yeah,
she
always
reps.
man. Anything, she's always sharing and liking our shit, commenting. She's always showing love. I love that shit, and it'll always be vice versa. You know, I'll have to go with Steve Townsell.
Shout out.
He's a
Tomahawk.
BKFC fighter now. It's awesome to see what he's been able to do, you know, in the professional world now. Myself.
I was going to say either you or your dad. Come on now.
Yeah, bro.
And speaking on that, what was it like, man? Last Rise of Warrior event, obviously your dad fought and you fought as well. 2 pro fights. What was that like to have your own fight on the same night that you're working?
Yeah, it was definitely a story. Definitely very interesting. I don't think anyone's ever hopped off a camera stand and just fought a guy before.
Literally, just hopped off and right to it.
I was cold. I hit my panic button for sure, which isn't like the way I fight is not how I spar in here. The way I fought that guy is not how I spar in here.
Yeah.
Like, so, you know, next time I would like a warm up and maybe not be the camera guy that time. But it was a lot of fun, very special to me to be on the same card as my dad and both get finishes. So that was cool to see.
A question I didn't get to ask you that night. I always like to ask the fighters: what does your pre-fight playlist look like? What music are you playing before you fight?
Well, that night I just
obviously that night you were working. You probably couldn't have any music at all.
I was watching all my friends fight, you know, from the camera stand. So I was just like, you know, like I saw Gibby, he had a tough loss, and I was like, fuck, man, that cannot be me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm watching my friend, you know, get hurt in front of me. It sucks to see.
But on a normal fight day, what's your playlist like? What kind of music you listen to?
Yeah, it's mostly like, you know, some rap, you know, some hard shit, you know, get me in the, or some Future.
That's right.
Some Kendrick.
Something to get going. Yeah, I was surprised JoJo was mentioning Queen. You know what I mean? A lot of guys like rock, a little slower stuff, but hey, we're getting against the rap going. Who's your favorite UFC fighter right now?
Oh, great question. Ilya Topuria.
Ilya's
I'd say
a
Ilya.
monster.
I try to mimic his style. I think he's the best boxer in the UFC right now. And the way he rips the body, and you know, me and him have a similar style.
Marches forward. He's a savage.
Yeah. It's crazy because he grew up wrestling, you know, like, and then he just completely. I think a lot of that transcribes over to his boxing, which leveled his game up a lot. Definitely my favorite fighter to watch.
The power
right now.
in his hands, man, is just unquestionable. For you, Danny, what's one rule change you'd like to make in MMA?
What was that?
What's one rule change that you would like to make if you could?
If I could change any rule in MMA, I would say no time limits.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't really agree with time limits or stand-ups. Really, I think if a guy gets a takedown, I think he earned that takedown, and I don't think they should be saved by the bell or the ref. I think that should it's a fight. A fight's a fight. If you get taken down, you have to work your way out. You know, that's just how I've always viewed it. I'm also a wrestler, so like, of course, I'm gonna subscribe to something like that.
Yeah.
But you know, like we see it all the time. You know, ground and pound guys. You know, could get finished, and then he gets saved by the bell, and then who knows what would have happened.
And then they start standing up. They start standing. That's what Joe Rogan was saying. That everybody should start where they finished.
Absolutely, yeah.
I asked your dad. He couldn't really answer it. And so for everyone to know on my show, I do not give these questions to my guests. That way they can't see it beforehand. I like to have real answers, but sometimes you get stumped. I want to ask you, Danny, you've been around the promotion for a long time. Off the top of your head, do you have, what's the best fight that Rise of Warrior didn't make happen? One that either fell through or one that was almost about to go down and we didn't get to see?
That's a good one. My dad couldn't answer this.
Because I'm like, man, there's been so many. To me, it was Scrap Bryson. I thought he was really going to fight. You guys fucking pump faked me. He wasn't even on the card. But what fights, you know, obviously injuries, stuff pulls through. Were there any almost, we're about to get this signed, that didn't happen?
Yeah, actually. Glenn Mincer, he is the owner of Black Box. I've known him since I was a little kid, and I was excited. I thought there was going to be a full-blown moment, like where my dad was fighting, Martin Stolkov was fighting, Glenn Mincer was fighting. I thought it was going to be able to see like my heroes growing up, all fight on the same card again, and then they couldn't make it work. I don't really know the political side of it, what happened, but it would have been cool to have him on the card as well. But,
damn, I love it, dog. Now, what's your future goals for yourself as a fighter, and then also Rise of Warrior as a promotion?
Rise of Warrior will always take primal. You know, that'll always be me. Like that's why I want to take that to the moon, of course. Fighting, I might just take a couple fights just for fun, but I have no current UFC goals at the moment. You know, like shit could change in a moment, but I just go out there and have fun if I decide to fight again. And honestly, just taking care of these guys, man. Just trying to keep these guys accountable and make them content. You know, do what I can for them. Really, is number one priority, along with Rise of Warrior.
And how much work does it go into, you know, to get all these great videos that we see on the Rise of Warrior page? How much work is you put in editing?
It's like my day job, but you know, it's cool because I'm able to make my own schedule. You know, I just record and I come home, and that's usually right after an event. I could just lock in on all the content. It's when everyone wants to see it. So, you know, Yeah, you know, it's cool because I get to make my own schedule.
Right, and it probably doesn't really feel like work. I mean, anyone that does
feel
video
like work,
production,
yeah. Like
podcasts
a
like
job.
us.
This isn't like, you know.
If you love it, it's worth staying
I
up till
love it,
3
yeah. I
a.m.
love every second of
videoing,
it.
cutting it up. I love it, man. Any last words, Danny? Anybody you want to shout out? Thank you so much for letting us come here to you guys' crib, the Treasure Coast Cartel. Any last words?
Just yeah, shout out to Wido. You know, always, you know, bringing a nice, you know, all this is great for these guys. It was really cool.
Yeah, man, I love it.
Shout out to my father, you know, and Mitchell Chamale for bringing MMA on the Treasure Coast in Florida, and you know, grateful to be a part of all this and all this right here. This is all really important to me. So it's really
man. Listen, the whole community appreciates you guys, Dan, Mitchell, Combat Night, the whole. And what's up with man, your dad? You guys always trolling him online, not letting him post, not letting him get a collaboration.
Yeah,
what are we doing here?
Nah, yeah, it's just like an inside joke me and Mitchell have, just like to, you know, mess with him.
Gotta protect the brand.
Yeah, you know. me and Mitchell, man, we make content, you know, on a daily, just, you know, to always talking that shit, and you know, we troll each other, you know, we talk a lot of shit, but it's all love at the end of the day.
Man, I love it, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you so much for holding us down right here at the Treasure Coast Cartel.
Absolutely.
Danny, always a pleasure, my guy. Thank you, all. Till next time, it's your boy YDOE. This is Dan. We had Dan Donaldson. We live from the Treasure Coast Cartel, baby. Till next time.